All right, y'all. This is going to be a live that will not last long. This is a last minute live. But this is I'm just so jittery right now. This is one of the most exciting moments of the year for me. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm coming from a completely selfish perspective with this because I've been waiting for this to happen. Ben Shapiro has been ducking smoke from not just Candace Owens, but he's been ducking smoke from Nick Fuentes. But we're about to get into that. Please hit the like button on your way in. Check out my most recent video about Erica Kirk. There, I have other videos coming in the pipeline as a reminder. I promise y'all. But let's talk about this. So Candace just dropped what I'm considering a last minute video in the last couple of hours. And this is kind of a big deal. Ben Shapiro, of all people, decided to go on to the Megyn Kelly show. Megyn Kelly is currently touring around the country, which, by the way, I just dropped a video on Megyn Kelly in the last week or so where I'm exposing who Megyn Kelly really is. Even though there are things about her that are virtuous and that I agree with, I still don't trust Megyn Kelly either. But that's besides the point. Ben Shapiro decided to show up to Megyn Kelly's tour when she came to Florida because that's where Ben Shapiro lives. And this man just decided to flat out lie and accuse Candace Owens of accusing Erica Kirk of unaliving her husband. Ben Shapiro said on a public platform that what Candace Owens has been doing is evil and that Candace Owens has accused Erica Kirk of unaliving Charlie Kirk. We all know Candace Owens has never said that. Furthermore, we know that we've been giving Candace Owens, me in particular, a lot of backlash. I even had quite a few people, y'all don't know this, I had quite a few people to unfollow me over the past week or so. Every single time that I criticized Candace, I noticed it. My subscriber count dropped a little bit every single time I criticized her. People in the comment were saying, she's not your enemy. It doesn't matter. I'm not making her my enemy. She's ducking smoke. She's pretending like she don't notice these things about Erica Kirk. Well, Candace Owens today, in response to Ben Shapiro, actually acknowledged the fact that she understands that she's been receiving a lot of backlash, but she specifically noted why. She said because her fans or her supporters have been saying that, have been coming after her because she has been ignoring and not talking about Erica Kirk's past, her family's history, and all of that. And I was like, for some odd reason, that was so satisfying for me. The fact that she acknowledged the specificities about Erica Kirk and the things that we find odd about her, which once again answers the question, Candace knows what we've been talking about. She's just been playing dumb. But I get beside myself. So we're going to react to maybe the first 6 minutes of her episode. This live will probably be 20 or 30 minutes tops. I just wanted to give you all my thoughts because this is very important, guys. And I'm going to tell you why it's very important. It's important for us to know who is behind these wars. Who are the characters, who are the biggest players that are pushing the buttons and calling the shots behind the scenes with all these foreign wars that are taking place. Who's in media? Who's in politics? Right? That are calling the shots, that are pressuring people. Why is it that we can have two Americans, regardless of how you feel about them? Why is it that we can have two Americans, one being Nick Fuentes, one being Tucker Carlson? Two Americans can come together, have a conversation about what they think about the country that they live in, our country. Why is it that two Americans can come together and talk about their own country, and people who have another country's best interest in mind is upset about it? We have a problem, people. When two Americans can't come together and talk about what's best for their country without foreigners getting upset and they have power in this country, we have a problem, people. Well, Ben Shapiro is one of those people, and Candace Owens exposed him in this episode. Once again, hit the like button on your way in. And we're going to go ahead and jump over here. And I'm going to show you all just the first few minutes of what Candace Owens just said, not even 30 minutes ago.
I don't know what to say other than it was the purest form of anti-Blackism that I've ever experienced. I mean, it's obvious to me that Ben Shapiro is manifestly insane. Last night, he was gripping the microphone as he would the neck of a Black woman. I'm kidding. Obviously, those are not my quotes. Those are actually direct quotations from Ben Shapiro himself when he accuses others of anti-Semitism. Whenever he hears anything that he doesn't like about Israel, those are actually his words. This is a real live tweet from Ben Shapiro accusing any American Jew who is pro-Israel of being Israel first is a pure form of anti-Semitism. That was directed at Nick Fuentes, which we'll circle back to. Also, this was a real tweet directed at Ron Paul. Ron Paul is manifestly insane. As in previous debates, he is now gripping the pen as he would the neck of a Jew.
Insanity.
Ron Paul? Really? And this is another tweet. Perry had the memorable moments of the evening. Had the memorable moments of the evening other than Ron Paul's corpse leaning forward from the grave and strangling the Jews. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what to say other than Ben is a funny guy. He is. He's never trying to be funny. He just is funny when he's being serious and he's being seriously angry about a topic. It's just something that I enjoy to watch. And last night, he got on stage with Megyn Kelly. She had a tour stop in Florida. And I want to say, I was kind of impressed with Ben because instead of doing his usual thing where he sends others to do his dirty work so he can keep his hands clean, he was like, I'm going to peer pressure Megyn Kelly myself. I'm going to make her disavow me, make her disavow Candace Owens. I'm going to make her disavow Tucker Carlson by putting her on the spot and asking her to respond to things that Tucker Carlson never did and Candace Owens never did or said. And you really get to see it masked down because you saw this narrative circulating amongst people who were just absurdly making claims that I attacked Erica. And I know what these organic movements look like. I know how they operate behind the scenes. And I know Ben plays a part in this. And so it was actually quite refreshing for me to be like, now everyone gets to see what you are because you're saying stuff that never happened. So we'll start with what he said about Tucker Carlson. You should know Ben has a real thing for Tucker Carlson. I don't understand it. It is just, I don't know. It's been going on for a long time. There's something about Tucker Carlson that gets under his skin. I'm not clear on it. I would actually love to hear Ben speak about that. I mean,
I'm actually going to fast forward it. I want you all to hear what Ben Shapiro said. He lied about Tucker Carlson as well. But again, I don't want to make this live too long. The purpose of this live is for us to see the lies, the blatant lies. And this is one of the biggest lies that you can accuse someone of doing. And the dude knowingly, he knows that he's lying, and he still decided to go on a public platform. He lied about it, and then the crowd cheered. That's what's insane. He lied on this woman and then cheered. Watch this.
Of what I never said. Here's what Ben said.
We're in a business where people comment on what we say publicly. Again, this is why I think you and I differ on our angle with regard to, for example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what? Because like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not. But my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. It's so crazy. He's not even anywhere near what's happened. Anybody who's watched this show, I actually was getting flack from my audience for not covering Erica's past or speaking about her parents. I said she gave one of the most consequential speeches, and I have focused my investigation on Turning Point USA and why they're telling certain lies. Seth Dillon, I told the truth that Seth Dillon lied about the Hamptons meeting and that he was pressuring Charlie about the topic of Israel. I never once accused Seth Dillon of murdering Charlie Kirk. So what's he actually doing here, right? Obviously, there's a lot of layers that we should peel back, and it's important that we do it. The least interesting part of this is the fact that he's lying through his teeth. That's implied he's a Zionist. But there's a lot more that's happening that meets the eye because Ben Shapiro was effectively the final boss of the pro-Israel lobby. And it's because he never comes out and says what he means. He's kind of like more of a behind the scenes person. And we're now watching him come undone in real time, because no matter who you are in this age of digital media, it is simply not a good idea to lie through your teeth. Okay. Wrong time, 2025. Before you get the lie out, the internet is going to clock it, right? They're going to go back and be like, you lied. And when you do something like that, the blowback is going to be on you. They're going to go, actually, this now impacts your credibility. You said that Candace went out and said something about Erica. By the way, you hear the people in the background going, woo! I'm going to tell you what's happening there too, and you're going to see how this thing really works. Point number one that I want to make about why or what Ben is doing right here is just the stunning hypocrisy of it. Okay. The rules for thee and not for me. I am getting old. My memory is getting a little fuzzy, but I distinctly remember the week that I was gloriously fired from the Daily Wire. And during that week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, at the time it was Jeremy Boring, jumped onto an X space hosted by Lauren Chen and had a conversation with Nick Fuentes where he sang Nick Fuentes' praises and also invited him onto the Daily Wire.
Crazy.
Okay? Here's a headline, because the Huffington Post remembers too. Daily Wire CEO tells white supremacist Nick Fuentes that he's talented and he's very funny. The article goes on. During a live streamed conversation with white supremacist Nick Fuentes last week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, a major right-wing media outlet, praised the prominent fascist influencer and offered only mild criticism about some of his political views, a stark difference from how he has spoken about Fuentes in the past. On March 25th, the Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring joined Fuentes on X for a live audio chat room. Boring told Fuentes that he listens to Fuentes' show quite often and that he thinks Fuentes is, quote unquote, very funny and one of the most talented political influencers, even if he is very concerned about some of what Fuentes says. Later in the discussion, Boring said that he'd be thrilled to have Fuentes on one of the Daily Wire's shows to debate the media company's popular pundits, some of whom have millions of viewers. This happened. So I want you just to remember this, because I feel like people are not appreciating how hypocritical it is that he's now trying to struggle session Megyn Kelly because, he had Fuentes on the show, when the Daily Wire position in 2024 was that their CEO could talk to Nick Fuentes publicly, praise Nick Fuentes publicly, and also invite Nick Fuentes onto the Daily Wire platform. We should actually take a listen to a little bit of that conversation between Jeremy Boring, then CEO of Daily Wire, and Nick Fuentes. Take a listen.
People can say, well, I don't like what you say about this and that. I don't like that guys like Shapiro will not say Christ is King, America first. I think they forfeit their ability to lead. I would never listen to somebody that can't say those things, because, those things are really the foundation of wisdom, which is the love of God, which, as you say, goes through the Son, as we all know, can only go through Jesus, and oikophilia, which is, your love of your home, your love of your homeland that you reside in, not some other homeland. So I just want to get that across to you. It's kind of a strange circumstance that we're talking, but that's how I feel about it.
And I'll say this, Nick, that I listen to your show quite often. I think you're one of the most talented people out there, and I'm very concerned about some of the things that you're saying. I wish, I think that you're a very gifted communicator, and so it's hard for me to imagine that you consistently miscommunicate some of these things. And I'll hope that I'm wrong and yield the floor back to all the people who actually came on here to talk to each other.
Anybody want to help me out why it's now different? What could be different now that it was okay when the Daily Wire was open to doing it, and then Tucker did it, and now it's suddenly not okay, and it's the worst sin that could ever happen to speak to Nick Fuentes?
I'll answer that question. The answer to that question is because Ben Shapiro is panicking. I'm going to tell you all why Ben Shapiro is panicking. Ben Shapiro, first and foremost, is jealous of Candace Owens. Let's start there. It's not just because, the fact that she's the #1 podcaster in the world now only adds gasoline to the fire. But that's not why he's jealous of her. He's jealous of Candace Owens because Candace Owens is a truth teller. Let's start there. He's jealous of her. Even when she was at the Daily Wire, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that a lot of you all, as just the viewers, don't understand. as a content creator, but also as a normal content creator, which I am. I'm 100% independent. There are other things that happen behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure, when you're signed to companies, when you have organizations backing you. But from a regular viewer's perspective, Candace Owens was getting way more views than Ben Shapiro. I mean, it wasn't even close. She was getting way more views, way more ratings, way more retweets, way more impressions on pretty much every platform than Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro had easily 4 or 5 million more followers and subscribers on each platform than Candace Owens had at the time. And she was doing like 6, 7, 8, 10 times the amount of views that he was doing. That was while she was there. Since she's left, I mean, her popularity and people's almost hunger to hear from Candace has only ballooned. It's only grown. Simultaneously, Ben Shapiro has dropped in popularity. Part of that reason is because of this war that's taking place. Ben Shapiro calls himself a conservative. But for those of you that don't know, Ben Shapiro has been an anti-Trumper for a very long time. Now all of a sudden, he's a pro-Trumper. Right? He was a never-Trumper, and all of a sudden, he's a pro-Trumper. Something's clearly wrong here. When you look at the things that Donald Trump is supporting, then you see why he is pro-Trump. There's a reason why so many people say Donald Trump is owned by Bibi Netanyahu. When you're seeing in meetings, Donald Trump pulling out the chair for Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi Netanyahu is signing paperwork, Donald Trump pushing the chair in behind him. This is our president doing this for another. What are you doing? Donald Trump doesn't do that for anybody else. Donald Trump is reckless at the mouth. Whether you like him, love him, hate him, feel indifferent, it doesn't matter. We can all agree he's reckless at the mouth. Not when it comes to Bibi Netanyahu. Candace Owens left the Daily Wire, and she only grew a lot. People not rocking with Ben Shapiro. You go to just about any post of Ben Shapiro's, he's getting flamed in the comment section. Flamed. America first. Christ is king. Jesus is Lord. America first. Go back home. This is not your country. Being no one cares. Being you're a hypocrite. Facts don't care about your feelings. For you to go on Megyn Kelly, number one, and say that it's evil for Candace Owens to be trying to seek what really happened to her friend on a two-dimensional level. For you to call that evil is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But then to add to that, for you to go on this platform and just flat out lie and say that Candace Owens accused Erica Kirk of having something to do with Charlie Kirk's passing, when he knows Candace Owens never has said that. That's never been Candace Owens' position. So why would Ben do that? Ben is seeking attention. His viewership is dropping. His popularity is dropping. He's trying to create a viral moment. And I'm going to say something else. Ben Shapiro is not only terrified of Nick Fuentes, he's terrified of Candace Owens as well. More so Nick. He feels a lot more confident with Candace, but he's terrified of Nick Fuentes. But here's the thing. Ben Shapiro is not the only one. Matt Walsh, terrified of Nick Fuentes. That's just a fact. Who else? Charlie Kirk. If you haven't seen my Nick Fuentes documentary, I highly encourage you to go and watch it out. I was fair. He says a lot of things I don't agree with. He's very hateful. I personally don't believe that he's actually a Christian. I think he just uses that to move up through politics. I think his family may be Catholic. I don't think he's a practicing Catholic. When you listen to his programs consistently enough, he don't sound like a follower of Christ to me. He sounds like he has some conservative values. He falls on the right. And his family just happen to believe in Jesus, so he says that he does as well. But I'm telling y'all right now, Charlie Kirk was terrified, just as terrified of Nick Fuentes as Ben Shapiro currently is. Candace won't talk about that, though. Most of his career, Charlie Kirk was a Christian Zionist, which is quite literally an oxymoron. Charlie Kirk banned, for those of you who don't know, Charlie Kirk banned Nick Fuentes from just simply attending his TPUSA events. Nick Fuentes wasn't showing up, wrecking things, threatening people, attacking people. No. His mere presence terrified Charlie Kirk. Because if Charlie Kirk ever had a public conversation with Nick Fuentes, not only would he lose, he will be humiliated because he knows that he's on the losing side. And Nick Fuentes is not only on the winning side of the conversation or the right side of history. Nick Fuentes also happens to be a gifted speaker, a gifted debater. It would be career suicide for Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk to ever debate Nick Fuentes. It will be one of the most viewed political debates in American history. It just would. And most people in this country are going to be siding with Nick Fuentes. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So why would Ben Shapiro come out and accuse Candace of saying that Candace Owens barely even, she hasn't said anything critical of Erica. Ben Shapiro knows that. Ben Shapiro knows that. Ben Shapiro is seeking attention. For him to pressure Megyn Kelly like that, I understand that Candace is picking her battles wisely, but even the way Megyn answered, when Ben Shapiro went, I believe that what Candace Owens is doing is evil, which is absolute ludicrous. Megyn Kelly responds, well, I don't have an opinion on if it's evil or if it's not. What do you mean, Megyn? Candace Owens is not doing anything evil. She's not doing anything evil. She's trying to figure out what happened to her friend, right? What's evil about that, Megyn? Why is it so hard to just say what Candace is doing is not evil, Megyn? All of these people are weird. But I'm going to say something selfish. Hit the like button, everybody. I'm going to say something super, super selfish. What I hope happens is I hope all of them at Daily Wire comes out and backstabs Candace. I hope every last one of them backstabs Candace. You know why? Because I want Candace to see these people for who they are. Candace, these people were not your friends. Candace, they were using you to say the things that they would gladly say, but the message would reach a lot further coming from a person that looked like Candace, that looked like me. The fact that Candace would go on Twitter, and for those of you that follow Candace on Twitter, you'll know what I'm talking about. Candace has religiously, and I've talked about this before, and it bothers me. And I'll be honest, part of it bothers me because I'm a so-called black man. I'll be honest. To watch this so-called black woman who has conservative values, I have conservative values. But then she goes out of her way when no one's asked her to do it. She's retweeting Matt Walsh. She's defending people online. She's defending Matt Walsh online against people who's attacking him when no one asked her to do it. You go over to Matt Walsh's page, he doesn't have a single Candace Owens retweet. He doesn't have a single tweet where he's defending Candace Owens. Why is it always so one-sided, Candace? Why is it so one-sided, Candace? For those of you that remember, there was a lot of backlash, a lot of talk about a group chat of white conservatives that have been saying some things in a lot of people have been saying in a joking manner. They said a lot of things about black people, saying black people were watermelon eaters. They said a lot of things about Jewish people, a lot of what people would call racist and anti-Semitic things, right? A lot of tropes, a lot of racist tropes. Matt Walsh retweets someone on Twitter or X that was complaining about this group chat. Matt Walsh retweets them and says, "Oh, you're still talking about this? Move on. This was not that big of a deal." Which is a very odd thing to say, because if that was the left or Democrats doing this and saying it about white people, Matt Walsh wouldn't shut up about it. But because it was white conservatives that said it about other groups of people, and they said it in a joking manner, it wasn't that big of a deal. Candace Owens retweets him. Candace, why are you doing that? It just seems that Candace has this weird allegiance. Like, I'm not even saying in an attacking manner. It just seems that Candace, once she's friends with somebody, she's friends to a fault. Matt Walsh, Kanye West, the Tate brothers. And a part of me respects that. I get it. But Candace, these people are not your friends. Matt Walsh does not nearly get criticized online, Candace, the way that you do. And a lot of it is ill-advised. When you go on Twitter, I 100% believe that there is a paid campaign to lie on Candace Owens. 100%, without a doubt. I went on Twitter 3 or 4 hours ago, and I saw like 4 tweets in a row that had hundreds of thousands of impressions. Low like counts, so not that many people liked the tweets, but a lot of people saw them, of people tweeting saying, Candace Owens has officially went crazy again. Now you'll never believe what she said now. Now she's accusing Erica Kirk of taking out her own husband. Candace has never even come close to saying that. People in the comment section are like, do you ever get tired of lying? When you don't have the truth, is this what you resort to? I don't see Matt Walsh one time anywhere ever defending Candace Owens, ever. Ever. So I'll say this. The fact that Candace Owens mentioned the specificities about Erica Kirk, or another way to say that is, since Candace Owens has officially mentioned the things that, let me see if I can show these on the stage. Since Candace Owens has officially mentioned the things that she know we want her to talk about when it comes to Erica, now I do believe that Candace Owens has purposefully chosen not to do it for strategic reasons. Yes, I'm with you. Tucker does defend Candace at times, but to be fair to Tucker, he said many times that he's not even on the internet like that. So that's fair. But for those of you that joined a little bit later, Ben Shapiro went on to the Megyn Kelly show and lied on Candace Owens. Ben Shapiro is jealous of Candace. She's getting hundreds of thousands of views. She's getting a lot of adoration and love and support. And the biggest thing is she's truly calling out a lot of corruption. Ben Shapiro is pissed because Ben Shapiro wasn't as big of a Charlie Kirk fan as he's pretending to be. Right? And remember, everybody, this entire live is a 2-dimensional conversation. We're not talking 3-dimensional. This is completely 2-dimensional. These people are jealous of Candace. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy, man. I could not believe this. When I was listening to him, I'm like, dude. But he doesn't have anything else. I knew something was going to happen to Candace. And what I mean by that is not being fired, but I was confused. That's probably a better way to say it. I was confused when Candace was at the Daily Wire. If you all want something entertaining to watch, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to end the live. If you all want something entertaining to watch, please, I don't ask for much. I usually ask you all to hit the like button. Follow me on Patreon if you can. That's usually what I ask for. But I have a different request tonight. If you can find the time, if you want to watch something entertaining, please go and watch Candace Owens debate any of the rabbis. Rabbi Shmuley is pretty entertaining, but there's another rabbi that Candace Owens debated when she was at the Daily Wire. They may have deleted it, but somebody else has posted it on other channels. Please, y'all, just type in Candace Owens debates rabbi, Daily Wire. Just type that in. You will watch one of the way that Dave Smith dismantled Josh Hammer is the way that Candace Owens dismantled this rabbi. It was a massacre to watch. It was gruesome to listen to. She did this while she was at the Daily Wire. She did this while they were at the Daily Wire. I was like, it's kind of like Charlie Kirk at the end when he started to call out all the stuff. I'm like, bro, this is the opposite of what you've been saying. You got Tucker up here saying this stuff. Josh Hammer and Ben Shapiro not only sound similar, but they look similar. They're not the easiest on the eyes. I know that's not the most Christian thing to say. That's fair. Mary, that's fair. She's a Catholic, not a Christian. I know they think that they're Christian. I don't think that that's considered Christian. Yeah, Tammy, a lot of people unsubscribed. Candace was the biggest thing over there. That's a fact. She also just so happened to be the only colored person over there too, but she was the biggest thing over there, bro. Matt Walsh he's a very skilled writer, and I actually enjoy his sarcastic style of delivery, you know, his sarcastic approach of delivering things. But Matt Walsh has shown his true colors on a plethora of different topics. He's a hypocrite. And I don't believe that all white conservatives are racist. Again, I have conservative values. That's not my position. Matt Walsh, I believe, is racist. I'm confident in that position. I've made an entire video on it. I do believe that dude is racist. And I think he's confident in it. A lot of people left the Daily Wire. And if you think Ben Shapiro don't know that, you crazy. Of course he knows that. They pay attention to the analytics. When Candace left, a lot of people left. Which, by the way, the Daily Wire was charging, and I think they still charge, an absurd amount for their subscriptions. It's like $300. It's like some absurd number. Ben Shapiro is irrelevant. He's failed from relevance. This is his attempt to get back into the spotlight. He's jealous of Candace Owens. He's trying to figure out his way, one way or the other, back into the spotlight. It's not going to work. Another huge coward that Candace Owens is not going to call out is Matt Walsh. Because Matt Walsh is watching Ben Shapiro do this stuff. He ain't said nothing. Matt Walsh knows that Ben Shapiro is a hypocrite. He ain't said nothing. You say, well, yeah, that's his boss. Leave. If you ask in my opinion, I have reason to believe that Ben Shapiro is a Luciferian. Allegedly. That's what I think. Especially when you look at his religion. I like that. Daily Liar. That's a bar. I believe that the Daily Wire is a branch of the Israeli propaganda machine. Can anybody even argue with that at this point? And the only pushback I'm going to give Candace is other things that we didn't cover in this live that Candace exposed about Ben Shapiro. to be fair, Candace, some of that stuff you knew before you went over there. Like she exposed that Ben Shapiro behind the scenes was trying to stop Charlie Kirk from rising. She also exposed the fact that Ben Shapiro got like old tweets, and I did show that in this video. Old tweets where he was saying that if you calling everybody anti-Semite, which is just like the left calling everybody a racist or a sexist, simply for being critical, right? Candace knew about some of that before she started working at Daily Wire. So we got to give you a little bit of pushback, Candace, as to why would you go and work for him if you know he was like that? You know? Why would you go and do that? Matt Walsh is weird to me. I liked a lot of his content. I unfollowed him like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Maybe actually it was closer to maybe 2 years ago. I unfollowed him because I was watching his content. I'm like, oh, he only talks about racism when black people are being racist. He never covers the videos of white people being racist. I thought you were about truth. You're pushing propaganda just like the left. You're no different from the left. I left the left when I realized, oh, y'all call everybody a racist, everybody a sexist, simply because they're giving you their opinions. Y'all think men should be in women's bathrooms. Y'all can't define what a woman is. Y'all don't even believe in God. Just to come over here to the right and you're like, oh, a lot of y'all are just the right version of the left. All of y'all are hypocrites. So that's why I consider myself neither. I have conservative values. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a sinner. I fall short every day. But I don't identify with either party, which is ironically enough where Candace is now. But as brilliant and as bright as Candace is, I don't know how Candace didn't understand this 5 years ago. That's just, I'll be honest, that right there is hard for me to believe. Candace, you working with these people, you should have known that. What does it mean to be left? Left means Democrat. It means to be a Democrat. Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Right? To be right means to be a Republican or to have Republican or conservative values. One would argue that you could be left and not be progressive, but that gets tricky and it gets confusing. Yep. Thank you, man. So I'm going to hop off of here. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Be safe no matter what you do this weekend. I'm going to try to have a video out for y'all by tomorrow that's completely unrelated to Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, any of it. I've been working on it for like the past week and a half-ish. I'm going to try to have it out by tomorrow. Love y'all, man. Hit the like button once again. Check out my most recent videos if you get a chance. And I'm going to go ahead and log off. I'm Demetrius. I go by Diddy. Peace.